Hello one and all to another episode of Deep Lore. Today we're going to be discussing the conspiracy that Earth is a prison planet and we were exiled here from our original planet. So this conspiracy revolves around the work of Ellis Silver, a professor in ecology. In 2017 he published a book called Humans Are Not From Earth, a Scientific Evaluation of the Evidence. A summary of this conspiracy is that our ancestors once lived freely throughout the universe far from the galaxy we're in. We were exiled by other aliens into Earth as a prison planet. This was said to happen about 50 to 60,000 years ago. At this point, Earth was already occupied by the Neanderthals. It is said that when we landed and were exiled onto Earth, we either mated with the Neanderthals to evolve into the humans that we have now, or we would have only mated with our fellow exiles, and that would eventually overthrow the population of Neanderthals, leading to the exiles, humans, to be the main creature on Earth. So why were we exiled? The theory goes that our ancestors were significantly more violent, vengeful, thieving and murderous compared to the other aliens that we lived with in the solar system. So typically whenever you hear about alien conspiracies, they're usually they abduct, but generally they're peaceful and they live in like a higher intelligent society where there's no need for violence or any of this typically human stuff. And when these aliens that our ancestors lived with saw how destructive the race of humans could be, they made a conscious effort to round us up and put us into ships and send us to a planet far away from their own solar system for us to live on our own and not disrupt the peace. Now, there's a question addressed in Silver's book, and that says, why weren't we genetically repaired and reintroduced into society as a more peaceful race? Generally, if these aliens have the ability to fly through space, surely there must be some genetic evolution that they could do. Well, Silver writes in his book that there are two probable reasons as to why this wouldn't have happened. Firstly, forced genetic modification of intelligent life forms is likely considered a horrific intergalactic civil rights violation, and therefore would be forbidden. The second reason why Silver believes this wouldn't have occurred is that there's a chance that previous genetic manipulation went terribly wrong, and they were outlawed across the galaxy ever since. So, what did our ancestors look like? Silver proposes that our ancestors had similar intelligence, however their skin and their hair and various other physical characteristics were different. This brings us on to Silver's next point. Why was Earth chosen as the ideal prison planet? It was believed that the distance from the society in which we previously came from was so far that even a strong amount of technological development on Earth would still mean that we would not get close enough to reach our previous homes. Furthermore, there's different climate zones on Earth, meaning that regardless of what planet in the far solar system that each group of humans were raised on, there would be a certain climate zone which is ideal for the humans being shipped into. Silver also stated that there were 6 conditions for human exile to a prison planet. Firstly, all memory of former lives were removed. Secondly, there were no tools or technology provided. Thirdly, the planet must have varied climate conditions similar to former worlds. Fourthly, the planet has to be far enough away from the intergalactic civilization. Fifth, prisoner contact, aid or interference with development was forbidden. And finally, prisoners were periodically monitored and assessed. A note on the final point, it's believed that when we have UFO sightings, most of the time it's to check on us and see our development. Silver also believes that human exile was not agreed to by everyone in the civilization. Sometimes throughout human history, there would be a big jump in technological development. This was believed to be aliens previously in the civilization trying to give us a head start because they did not agree with the exile. This brings us to the main meat of Silver's argument and the evidence that would prove that we are not originally from this planet. Firstly, humans commonly suffer from back pain. Silver explains that our species might have descended from a planet with less gravity than we have on Earth. Another reason that said that we originated from a planet with less gravity is that babies have a hard time supporting their own head. In an atmosphere with less gravity, there would be less force pulling it down and not needing external help to support it. Dr. Silver also says that we are the only species on this planet with such high rates of complications and mortality during pregnancy and childbirth. We also have problems dealing with harsh weather conditions, be it cold or warm. It's also said that humans show a strong dislike to many types of food that naturally occur on Earth. Perhaps this indicates that the food our body was evolved for is that from a distant planet. Silver also notes that humans are very often sick, and he believes that this is because our biological clock is tailored for a day of 25 hours as opposed to a 24, which has been proven by certain studies. So that is essentially the conspiracy that Earth is a prison planet and we were exiled here. Some people have pointed out that we as humans share 96% of the DNA as a chimpanzee, and this would invalidate Silver's theory, as we shouldn't share DNA with something we wouldn't have directly evolved from, especially to that high percentage. Either way, I'd love to know what you guys think. I owe every one of you a huge thank you. I would have never thought that just some random bloke sitting behind a desk could get 70 subscribers in about 5 days. I appreciate that. And so, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've learnt something today. If you liked it, leave a like, and if you want, subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it. We're going to work our way down the conspiracy iceberg and try and find some interesting conspiracies. And I'd love for you to come along with me.